Hi everybody, welcome to HopTopics. My name is Matthew.
And I need a haircut.
We're here today, we're here to talk about beer.
And movies.
This episode is going to be a little different because we're still in the midst of the pandemic. We're actually going to talk about like movies that we recommend that are on streaming services. And today's episode is...
We're going to focus on Netflix today.
Netflix.
Because, as you know, we like to do, we set out with high, lofty ambitions and then realized partway through that it takes a lot more time and effort and, like, it would be a long video if we were to go over all streaming services, over just what we've seen and what we can recommend for each streaming service. So, since Netflix is the progenitor of the whole streaming service epidemic, craze.
Yep.
Figured why not start with them? And, drink beer while we talk about movies that we've already seen, but we're not necessarily reviewing and such.
Yeah, we're just going to give our recommendations. We're going to go into a little bit of in-depth of a couple of them, like a couple of our favorites each. And then we'll talk about the beers. Well,
The beer.
Yeah. And also give a rating and talk a little bit more about that as well.
Yeah.
Which beer is delicious, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. It's wonderful.
Spoiler alert, it's one of my favorites.
Yes.
Anyways, Netflix has a ton of movies and shows that are definitely particularly awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Some of our favorites are movies that we have actually reviewed on this channel, so we're not going to go in depth about those. One of those being Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Mm-hmm.
We did our in-depth review / fawning over of that movie
Great movie.
a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't seen that, we can link that in the description. I can say that thing.
Yes.
I can say that thing that
We can definitely do
everybody
that.
says in their videos.
Link in the description. Link in the description below.
But thankfully there are literally dozens of other movies, shows that we can go over that we think our viewers would enjoy.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Why don't you kick it off? Why don't you pick something that you recommend?
Well, I like a lot of. I'm more of a bigger horror fan than he is. So I picked a couple of the horror movies that are on there, such as like The Ritual, As Above, So Below, and Hush. Hush was a really good one that I really liked. I was like a little skeptical at first. I was like, is this really going to be as good as it sounds? And surprisingly enough, it actually was. It mixes a bit of like point of view, like you get it from like it's still third person, obviously, but like the main character is deaf. Well, everything's happened to her. So, like, sometimes you'll just hear nothing but, like a heartbeat. Or, like a ringing. And it's just like a heartbeat, like a, I would guess a deaf person would hear.
I guess there's no real frame of reference.
Yeah.
I can't exactly describe what they hear.
Exactly. I also can't go from a reference because I can actually hear. But
like even the movie wouldn't have a real frame of reference.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's really very interesting the way that they just switch over, because you can hear, like when you hear stuff, and then all of a sudden they switch over to her, and she can't hear anything, and she's like going around the house trying to like figure out what's going on, and trying to survive, and I thought it was really cool that the way that they did that. And there was one part that did irritate the crap out of me, but I don't want to spoil anything. But
also no spoiler.
No.
For any of these.
Yeah, but it's very well done, well written, and yeah, I highly recommend that one.
Cool. As far as horror goes, I didn't really put too many things on here that could be considered horror. looking at my quick little reference list, the original Evil Dead movies on there.
Oh, yeah.
Classic, campy horror. I've talked about Evil Dead 2 several times on this channel, and I love the Evil Dead franchise, so definitely one to check out. Pan's Labyrinth has kind of like a fantasy horror sort of, so it's a very adult fantasy movie, and Guillermo del Toro directed this movie, and
beautiful movie.
The costumes and the designs for different creatures are super creepy and like super detailed and like very Guillermo styled.
Yeah, you can definitely tell it's him.
So there's definitely a scene in that movie that's super famous. If you haven't seen that movie, I'm not going to spoil it, but the creature in that is just like super creepy and crazy awesome.
Oh yeah.
Definitely one of the most like heart-pounding parts of that movie.
Oh, definitely.
And then mostly comedy but horror-based movie, Little Evil, starring Adam Scott.
The movie's ridiculous.
Yeah,
but it is quite funny.
Basically, the kid's supposed to be the Antichrist, and the main character married the mom, and I think the first half of the movie is just basically the kid trying to kill him.
Yeah, pretty much. It's trying to survive.
It's both a movie that's just like based in comedy and like horror tropes, but also talks about things about being a stepfather or a step-parent a lot, and
the trials and tribulations of being a step-parent. And like the pitfalls that you could run into,
just
not necessarily, just outside of the realm of being the step-parent
of the Antichrist.
Yeah, exactly. The mom is very nonchalant about a lot of things in this movie.
Super nonchalant. It's like supernatural shit's happening around her on the whole time, and
it's old wiring.
It's old wiring. Yeah. Doors always made that sound.
Exactly.
Just like little weird, funny things like that. But yeah, and then I have a bunch of comedies on mine. Comedy being my more preferred genre, not exclusively my genre. Number one comedy / semi-biographical movie on my list has to go to The Disaster Artist.
Oh, yes.
It is a movie about the making of The Room, which is widely considered one of the worst movies ever made in every aspect humanly possible. And about the director of said movie, who, may or may not be the greatest genius / craziest person ever to live. But James Franco and Dave Franco, two leads in the movie, are amazing. James Franco does an incredible job of impersonating Tommy Wiseau, and there are moments where you're just on the floor rolling, laughing, and then there are moments where you're just like dumbstruck at like, is this person for real? Like, is this really how this happened?
Did this really happen?
Like, it's just so surreal. Like, I don't know. I never thought somebody like that could exist on the planet. But, Tommy Wiseau, it's a complete enigma.
Definitely, yeah, that's definitely the perfect word for it.
Yes,
enigma.
And then among those, there's two Monty Python movies, The Life of Brian and Monty Python and the Holy Grail. If you haven't seen those movies, they're absolute must-see classic comedies.
Oh, totally. Especially if you have any inclination towards British comedy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But even outside of that, it's like, it's not like that super dry British comedy. Although
no,
there's plenty of that.
There's plenty of that in there as well. Yeah,
but it's a lot more like slapsticky and a lot of fun. Can't recommend those two movies enough.
Yep.
More modern comedies: Superbad, Easy A, The Other Guys. all more modern day, teenage comedies and, just like more of those ridiculous comedies that you wouldn't really consider are good movies, but they will make you laugh.
Yes.
Then I think there was one more on here that I wanted to talk about. Of course, The Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad.
Yes.
One of the original, over-the-top slapstick comedy movies from the Farrelly Brothers. Just along the lines of, if you haven't seen that, Airplane. Oh man, I'm blanking on some of the other ones right now, but Airplane being the biggest one.
Oh, yeah.
Top Secret. One of my favorite comedy movies from being a kid. Yeah. So those are comedies on there that, right now, I would highly recommend anybody that's looking for something more fun and just ridiculous.
Yes, definitely. I also put a couple of action movies on here. Like one of them's more action drama than the other one. The other one's more of an action story.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's The Patriot. The Patriot's great. It's dramatic. It's got good action. It's a dramatization of the revolutionary.
It's also a Mel Gibson movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely a Mel Gibson movie. So you want to take that one as you will, but it's still a really good movie. Very very well shot, very well done. For the most part, it's historically accurate.
I guess.
They do take a lot of liberties with a lot of things in that movie, but I mean, it's good. It's not bad. Also, Ip Man.
Ip Man.
The Ip Man 1 through 3. If you don't know anything, Ip Man is a great series.
It's a Chinese martial arts series. Right now, I think 1 through 3 is on Netflix, but I think there's even another movie after that.
I think there's a fourth one after that.
But starring Donnie Yen.
Donnie Yen, yes.
One of the best, more modern martial arts actors. Mm-hmm. But he's been in the game for years and years.
Oh yeah, very long time.
But you'll see him back in Jet Li movies and even some Jackie Chan movies. But he's gone on to finally create his little niche in lead roles, and show his chops and his choreography ability and his abilities as an actor. And,
he's
in that movies are definitely.
He's very well known for his authenticity during fight scenes. Even to the point where he will pay the stunt double or the actor that he's fighting extra to take a hit from him to make the scene seem more realistic.
Yeah.
So he'll take all precautions as you can, but to make the scene more realistic, he will actually take some of his money that he's getting and pay the actor that is receiving this. In order to make it more authentic.
I'm getting $5 million from this film. I'll give you $10K to just full on just take this punch right to the face.
He does that all the time in all of his movies. He's very committed to the craft of martial arts and putting being authentic to the martial arts in movies to make it more realistic.
Yeah.
Instead of going over the top with a lot of martial arts movies.
Yeah, but the Ip Man movies are fantastic. Great choreography, especially the first one. The first one I feel has a really strong story to it.
Oh yeah.
Very it may seem kind of formulaic, where it's just kind of the.
Plus
there's the. With the Japanese dojo, yeah.
Yes!
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the best fight scenes.
Best and most brutal fight scenes.
In pretty much you will ever see. Yeah, you will ever see. That is the most epic thing.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Absolutely. And it's just a cool movie to watch.
Oh, yeah.
If you're looking for something, you will have to read subtitles. to get the real authentic feel to it.
Exactly.
I'm sure there's dubbed versions as well, but I never actually look for those, so
I
honestly just wouldn't know.
I'd rather just watch it with the subtitles.
But segue point I'm going to make is Donnie Yen's playing Ip Man, who is the man who trained Bruce Lee, and one of, if not the most famous Bruce Lee movie, is also on Netflix right now, Enter the Dragon. I mean...
It's a great movie, too.
It's a great movie. It's one of the greatest martial arts movies, ever, just because of how revolutionary it was in terms of, the fight scenes and, like, actually having a compelling story and, like, just everything about it. I mean, it's Bruce Lee. What more do you really need to know about that one? And then, just because I have it on here and we're talking about martial arts movies, Kung Fu Hustle is also on here. Going also back to the comedies.
Comedy.
Because it is definitely, first and foremost, a comedy movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a nice story to it, but it uses martial arts in a very, fun, exaggerated way, and to produce, like, very over-the-top, almost anime-esque fight scenes, and also, lend to the comedic aspects of, people being able to do superhuman things.
Yeah.
But all the superhuman things that they can do are kind of, like, over-the-top, crazy, mystical powers and stuff. And the names that they give some of these characters are fantastic as well.
Right.
But yeah, real quick, I think I need another beer.
I do as well.
Let me just grab our beer for the day. Sierra Nevada Celebration. I can't remember if we actually used this for one of our videos, or we talked about using this for one of our videos.
I think we talked about it.
Okay. Well, as you can see, I got a big, F all to, any other size bottle. That's a 3-liter bottle of Sierra Nevada that they put out for the holidays. It is their winter limited release, and it is among one of my favorite beers that you just regularly get during the winter season. Here, let me pour this for you so we can talk about how it actually tastes, even though we just drank a pint. I'm going to be careful because these cups tend to foam up because you can't see what's going on in there. And there it goes. Oh, that was perfect.
It was. Nice.
That's beautiful. All right.
See if we do it again.
And this is where I rushed it last time because it was mine and I didn't care. Hold on. And I'm going to blame that on him.
Yeah, that was my fault. I tilted it too fast. Wasn't ready.
I wasn't ready,
man. Nobody's ready. I'm sorry.
Sierra Nevada comes out with this beer every year, so next winter, holiday season, just before Thanksgiving, usually, this beer is available. It's a 6.8% ABV, so it's like right in that nice little sweet spot of not being strong, not being weak. It's that nice, drinkable, enjoyable 6.8. Cheers, man.
Cheers, man.
It's dry hopped, and it makes for a very hoppy, bitter, dry, but still easy drinking IPA. I don't know. For my money, when I think of beer, this is what I think of, and it's kind of made itself synonymous with the holidays for me. Even though I know a lot of people think of stouts and porters and stuff, I think of Celebration because I love this beer.
Well, this would be also nice, like a beer to like sip on while you're sitting by the fire, chilling out. I mean, like it's not like it's not like a lot. It's not like citrusy like a lot of the IPAs that are coming out now.
Yeah.
Which it's still very good. But I mean, like, yeah, you could just chill, just hang out.
Yeah. It's a nice I'm gonna have a beer kind of beer, and it's a nice I want to relax and like stay warm under a blanket kind of beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Or grab a coat and go sit outside kind of beer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I don't know. For me, it's just like, it's an all-around great beer. This is why we don't spill.
Sorry.
It's okay. I spilled before this too. Which, honestly, if you saw the struggle it was to open this bottle, I'm so glad I did not do that on camera.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing, and it took several minutes.
It was
this cork was wedged in there.
Like we both tried for a good solid 5 minutes each.
Look at this guy, he's a brick. But it was definitely jammed in there.
Yeah, it's like they didn't want us to drink the beer.
Yeah, which is completely contradictory to what I want to do.
Exactly.
I've been looking forward to drinking this beer for so long now. It's a hard, sell to pop open a 3-liter bottle.
Yeah.
When you got 2 people that are going to drink. So we figured it might well be a special occasion.
Mm-hmm.
Us coming back from the fold, jumping back into the YouTube game.
Celebrating our comeback.
Our return. But yeah, after that, I think you got some other stuff that you wrote down that I didn't notice. Most notably, for me, would be the 2 series on there that I've seen. Love, Death and Robots and Black Mirror. If you haven't seen Black Mirror, you're probably living under a rock. It's probably been one of the most popular Netflix series.
As soon as it came out.
Yeah.
Like, there was hype around it before it came out.
Yeah.
It's a great series. Like, I've watched it at least 3 times already.
Yeah. I have seen the Bandersnatch episode. I honestly, I've heard of it, and I know all about it. It's a very Twilight Zone-y, vibe to it. Mm-hmm. The Bandersnatch episode, if you haven't seen it, has a choose-your-own adventure, and it's got tons of different options and ways that the story progresses based on what you choose. And, doing that in a altered mindset is always fun as well. It's gonna stick no matter what at this point, because it's on the bottom of the cup. Alright, anyways. I know, I keep picking this up without even drinking.
Yeah, you definitely have a drink, man. Yeah. But yeah, Love, Death and Robots is also another good series that's on there. Each one is a different story. It's also a different art style.
What really got me about that series was the way they changed the animations for each episode, each individual episode, and each little story. And I don't know, it's just really cool being able to see all these different animation styles, and the stories are really fun and interesting. Mm-hmm. Some of them are more thought-provoking. Some of them are just meant to be cool, awesome battle sequences. Mm-hmm. And some of them are just meant to just blow your mind.
Yes, definitely. But it's a great series, a great overall series.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean,
even if you just watch it for the
one was probably one of the funniest, hands down.
Even if you just watch it for a visual standpoint, it's spectacular.
Yeah, absolutely. A series neither of us put on here, but I've seen all of, and he's stuck in purgatory having not watched all of them yet. And obviously Stranger Things.
I keep hearing good things about it.
He keeps hearing good things, and you'd think for the person that's a bigger fan of horror movies and the genre, he would have watched it immediately.
Not only that, but the amount of nostalgia that's in the series itself.
It's all 80s nostalgia.
Yep.
And even if you're more 90s kid, it's you still know all these things. Like, these things were still around.
Yeah.
You know,
Especially in the early 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So, and D&D never goes away. So D&D is just a...
Yep. It's a perpetual thing.
Yeah. As it should be. But yeah, Stranger Things. I mean, if you haven't heard about it, there's a million other videos that talk about it way better than we probably ever will. But I think the 4th season should be...
October?
Yeah, hopefully.
September? October? Sometime this year.
So, this should be this year.
I think it's later this year. They may push it back because the pandemic's still going.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
You can only push it back so far, though. I mean, those kids are getting huge. They have to do a time skip.
Well, they probably should anyway, just
to catch up with them as they are now.
Yeah.
I think Finn Wolfhard's like, what, 8 feet tall now? You know.
I know, Jesus.
Anyways. Yeah, and then, honestly, on Netflix, they've got a lot of, like, classic films. A lot of, like, Best Picture contenders and Best Picture winners. Don't really feel like going too in-depth with a lot of those, but, and Taxi Driver, Goodfellas, Inception, oh man, The Hateful Eight, Tarantino, I'm pretty sure The Departed's on there, Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me If You Can.
A lot of Scorsese stuff, a lot of like the gangster movies and such. Always solid movies to watch, but you know, you gotta be like in a mood to watch those, I feel like.
True.
At least for me. Like, I always feel like I need to be in a mood to watch a Scorsese style film.
Yeah, because it's very involved. Like, you get involved with the characters, and you get involved with like what's going on, and then you're like also trying to following everything. It's better if you pay attention.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you get more out of the movie when you're watching it.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of critics for like Best Movie Picture and stuff like that were very hard on Scorsese for a really long time because he was making gangster movies, and they were very anti that, which is stupid because all of his movies are wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, when was the last time I watched a Scorsese movie and thought, meh? Like, literally never?
Right? Is Casino on there?
Huh?
Is Casino on there?
Oh, you know what? I don't know if I saw Casino on there.
I'll have to check that out. You may have to check that out, because Casino's a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen Casino, that's another one. Right alongside of Goodfellas. It's like, there are parts of those movies that are almost interchangeable. Like,
yeah.
Well, you can take Joe Pesci from either of those movies and just swap them over, and
he's pretty much the
exact same character. Which, you know, you'd feel like would be a bad thing, but at the same time, like, it almost sets up like this like weird fictional universe of gangster movies. Which I now think would be an awesome like idea of setting up a gangster movie, you know, universe.
That would be
forget the Universal monster movie, you know, universe. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, they already forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, no, they already just like flat out gave up on it.
Yeah,
they're just like, oh, The Mummy was terrible. Let's never do any of these movies ever again.
Yeah. I didn't really care for The Invisible Man though. Didn't like the ending.
Yeah.
Didn't like the ending.
I didn't see it.
It was good up until the ending, and then you're like, this is dumb.
Yeah. I think if they're going to use monsters, like, I don't know. I think the Godzilla monster universe, the kaiju universe, is way more interesting and just filled with lots of monster fights.
Yeah, plus it also takes you back to... Because it also references the old Japanese movies as well.
Yeah.
Like, it references those movies, and, like, it still takes parts from those movies and puts them into this one. So, I mean, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's just super in-depth, but you wouldn't think so, because it's a Godzilla movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, they could drop all the human parts of those movies, and I'd be okay with that.
Pretty much,
I want to see, like, for the upcoming Godzilla vs. Kong, I just want to see King Kong and Godzilla beating the crap out of each other. That's my main focus for that whole movie.
Exactly.
So when we review that in a month or two, it comes out March, so, and simultaneously to HBO Max, so we will be watching it.
Oh yeah.
And we will do a video on it. Because, yeah. Why not?
Exactly.
That being said, I think can kind of start wrapping this up. I know there's a couple of movies on your list that you didn't get to.
There's a couple on there, like Would You Rather. Would You Rather is another good, interesting horror movie. It's more along the lines of like Hostel, without the kidnapping. It's like an extreme version of Truth or Dare, and whoever's the last one standing gets whatever they want, essentially. Interesting movie. Yeah. It's a lot of the ways that they do the dares are very interesting. Like, it's really.
I think I saw part of that movie.
Really cool.
You were probably watching it.
I do love that movie.
Yeah.
Davinci Code. Can't go wrong with the Davinci Code. I mean, especially if you like you're even into like the slightest bit into theology. It's very interesting take on a lot of Christian beliefs.
Yeah. Plus, it's got Tom Hanks in it.
Tom Hanks, yeah.
Tom Hanks is a great guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd have a beer with Tom Hanks.
Like in his contract, every movie he has to have a scene where he pees.
Yeah.
Every movie.
Weird.
Super weird.
Am I holding that cup real quick? You can keep talking. I'm just gonna fill up my beer.
One of the movies I also put on here, like I saw when I was a teenager, because it came out in '98.
Oh, jeez.
It's a funny movie. It definitely didn't age well. But if you're looking for like a nostalgia and like you're in your like mid to early 30s, it's definitely one of those movies where it'll take you back. Seth Green's in it. I think Lacey Cuthbert's in it as well.
I'm just trying to figure out what movie you're talking about.
It's called Can't Hardly Wait.
Can't Hardly Wait.
Can't Hardly Wait.
I feel like I've seen that movie. I don't remember anything about that movie, so I probably haven't seen it.
The main character is trying to give a love letter to the main girl who just broke up and is about to leave for college. And he tries to do this at this party. And he takes his friend, Seth Green, who's in that movie. He's an awkward, and like he's one of the awkward kids in high school. Like, we had a lot of cliques in high school. Okay, so what do you want from me?
And
I'm old.
If it's a '90s movie, then yeah, it focuses almost entirely on cliques in high school.
Exactly.
Because that's all '90s movies in high school ever did was focus on cliques. Look back and look at every other '90s high school movie, and it is all about like nerds, goths, jocks.
Yep.
Like that. I mean, you can say that about a lot of '80s movies too, but that just tended to focus on nerds and jocks. Whereas like '90s movies like to expand on like viewing the whole school, like 10 Things I Hate About You, and like having the Rastas and like the future
the cowboys,
the future freaking leaders.
I mean
the cowboy clique,
the
freaking ultimate frisbee clique.
Yeah.
90s movies are all about cliques.
Yes, exactly. Well, I mean, it's like back then it was easier to associate with, because that's what high school was. Like, it was a bunch of cliques that usually didn't interact with each other.
Yeah.
But that's different now because everybody's into everything, which is nice. It's good. You should be. You should be give everything a try. And if you don't like it, cool. Don't go bash it. Don't bash the person that's into it. Like,
yeah.
Support them in their diversity.
Oh, for sure.
And my last one is The Ritual. I was very skeptical about this movie going into it because the synopsis on Netflix makes it sound really stupid.
Oh, really?
I was not excited about watching this movie,
Man.
and I watched the whole thing, and I was actually surprised. It was decent. It was not great. It wasn't like terrible. I liked the supernatural aspect of it. Also, it has a lot to do with like dealing with guilt, and like trying to move past that and move on, and not to dwell on the past, but to not have it like dictate the rest of your life.
No.
It was nice. Plus the twist and the twist near the end of the movie was also very interesting. So I do recommend that movie. It's actually really good. So yeah, give it a shot. Why not?
Yeah. His movie before The Ritual, he mentioned nostalgia, and for nostalgia's purpose, and the fact that it's an amazing childhood movie, Hook is also on Netflix.
Yes.
I don't know how well it would hold up to somebody who didn't watch it when they were a kid, but if you didn't watch it when you were a kid, well then, whatever. I don't care.
Watch it with your kid.
Watch it with your kid, yeah. I think it'd still hold up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's a great...
I mean, it's a Robin Williams movie. How could it not hold up?
Seriously, though.
Everything Robin Williams is in is a great movie, for the most part.
Let's dial that back there. About 5%.
Okay, he's great.
He's an amazing actor.
He's an amazing actor.
And one of the funniest men to have ever lived,
yes,
for sure.
Yes.
But, yeah, I mean, this is not a comprehensive list of everything on Netflix that you should watch. Obviously, there's a lot of, like, big things on here that we didn't even touch on.
Mm-hmm. A lot more of the series.
Plenty of other series that ran on different networks and stuff that got brought to Netflix. Mm-hmm. Original content that's on Netflix. It's really good.
Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor, which I keep hearing that the Haunting of Bly Manor is really good. I haven't watched it yet, but the Haunting of Hill House is like supposed to be before that, I think. Or like part of that, or something like that.
They're supposed to connect.
They're supposed to connect somehow. But if it's anything like the Haunting of Hill House, that was great. I love that. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, and obviously, taste differs.
Oh yeah, of course.
Everything is subjective. So, like, if there's other stuff that that's on Netflix that you're all like, what the heck? Why didn't they mention that? They're terrible. Unsubscribe. This is a quick list. Yeah. This is us jumping into things because we really wanted to get back into doing this.
Yes.
And we're really terrible at actually allocating time to research.
Yes.
And actually doing stuff because we have regular lives, even though we're lazy during those regular lives. Laziness is part of our lives.
Yes.
It's
we also
a necessary part of our happiness.
We drink beer outside of this room as well.
Oh yeah, that goes without saying.
My life is filled with lots of movies and movie references.
Yeah, movie references for sure.
Quotes constantly.
Constantly quoting movies. I mean,
I can't help it. It's like a tick.
Oh my god! Ever since his sister moved in with us, it's like all we ever do is quote movies when we're all around each other, and so it's. Yeah, movies, TV shows, YouTube series, clips.
Yep.
So it's I don't know what point we were getting at there.
We're rambling at this point. So
and since this video's hitting the 40-ish minute mark, and we've pretty much talked about everything on our list to some extent, we'll put all of these movies in the description that we mentioned or talked about. All of them can be found on Netflix in February of 2021. Hey man, let's cheers. Oh, you ain't got no beer. I could use a little top up here. Let me top off mine. selfish. I don't want to do that first.
Well, it is your beer, so.
I'm going to drink more of it tonight, too, anyways.
Yeah.
There's so much
So much foam.
So much foam. Look at that head. It's like an orange on a toothpick. It's got its own gravitational pull. That well.
Ah, well. Why isn't that movie on Netflix?
Kung Pao, End of the Fist. One of the worst movies that still makes me laugh to this day. Also, this video didn't cover anything coming to Netflix anytime soon.
Yeah, we kind of didn't really look into that.
Maybe at some point we'll do an updated version of stuff that's come out, and then maybe do some like legacy picks for stuff we didn't mention today. I don't know.
And if you have any recommendations, put it in the comments down below.
Yeah,
We'll check it out, or we'll
listen to us making YouTube tropes. Gotta put that like and subscribe reference in there now. Like and subscribe. Click the little bell, even though we come out with videos at the same time. Well, here's to you.
Here's to me.
Friends for life we shall always be.
If by chance we disagree,
Well then, screw you. Here's to
here's to
me.
me. Cheers.
Cheers.